Release the Kraken!
Good afternoon, fellow game designers. Ron here at Lame Duck Studios, and we are going to be looking at some of the basics in Unreal. This is a redo of an older tutorial from a long time ago, so I'm kind of refreshing it for all those who are getting into Unreal, newcomers and the like. And because we're on, 4.25 these days, it's kind of good to kind of look around. Now, I'm actually not going to go in 4.25. I don't have 4.25 installed, but it's close enough. Anyway, so this is, if you're in 4.24 or above, you'll see this window. This is the new project window. And you see I have a bunch of stuff down here for doing film and architecture and automotive. But the thing we're really interested in is games. Okay, so go ahead and select games and then go to next. Now, one little caveat, of course, this is a beginner tutorial, so if you're familiar with Unreal and you've been using it for a while, this isn't for you. This is only for those who are just starting out and are terrified when they look at the interface and just want to kind of have a better understanding of what they're dealing with. Okay. To not make anything super complicated, we're just going to go ahead and grab a blank project. Now I'll come down here and go to next. You can set up your project details. This is new. We've always had the option for Blueprint or C++. We're going to be in Blueprint. Maximum quality or scalable. I prefer scalable on smaller devices. On the desktop, it's fine to have maximum. Whatever device you have, scalable is usually the better choice on lower-end graphics cards. Ray tracing. This has always been in Unreal, at least as far as I recall. But now you have the option to enable it or disable it at the beginning, which is kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and just say disabled because this does put more weight on the graphics card, and this is just a demo, so no harm, no foul. The target device, whether you want it to be on desktop or mobile, that's up to you. But if you pick desktop, then all the settings will be geared toward working on a desktop kind of situation. If you do mobile, it'll preset all of the mobile settings so that when it comes time for you to push it out to a mobile device, some of those optimizations have already been put in place for you, so you don't have to do that by hand. So if you plan on doing a mobile game, go this route, and then it'll just speed up your workflow. But you can start on either one of these and then undo those changes or make those changes manually. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick desktop. Come down here. I'm going to do a name. You can only have 20 characters. Make sure you don't put spaces, like hi, yo, hello. It does not like spaces, you can see. Project names cannot contain a space. Also, project names cannot begin with a number. So you can see right here. Okay, those are programming rules, just so you're aware. You can have a number in your name, you just can't start it with a number. So I'm going to call this UE4 beginner, and I will hit create. And you can see the 4 is in there, all nice and happy. It's allowed, but it can't be in the beginning. Put it in the beginning, it gets mad. Also, the place that you are going to save this, you should probably choose a folder that you like. I use, C users. This goes to my OneDrive and whatnot, but if you wanted to put it into a specific spot, you're welcome to. The default is Unreal Projects and Documents, but I created a separate projects folder, so it's up to you. You can go ahead and hit create. All right, once Unreal pops open, I'm going to go ahead and just close the new plugin window. You'll have something that looks like this. Now, for those of you who are new, you'll probably have a different layout. I'm going to go ahead and move this. Yours probably looks like this. Something like that. I prefer to be able to see my whole workspace. You can see by default, this is a very cluttered workspace, and it's hard to kind of get around and see what's going on in here. So I just prefer to have my browser window on the side. It's up to you. You can put this anywhere you want. And actually, all of these tabs are movable and dockable, and we'll kind of get into that. Right off the bat, we have our viewport. This is the little viewing window. And we'll do some general movements in here. To move forward, you just left click and drag. It lets you move forward. So push forward, push back as you're dragging. If you turn left or right as you're dragging, you'll turn your head. If you're going to go and look up or down, that's the right mouse button, and you can look up, down. You can also look left and right. If you want to move the camera, you can press in on the mouse wheel and you can move the camera. Conversely, you can press both mouse buttons together and you can do the same thing. Okay, so your basic moves are all right there. Your basic move tools you can see right here are your navigation tools. So you have movement or translation, you have rotation and scale. So if you're like working in Maya or 3ds Max or Blender, the same kind of tools apply. And these actually work same as Maya. So W brings up the move tool, E brings up rotation, and R brings up the scaling tool. Also, you can just hotkey cycle through those by pressing spacebar. So press spacebar, it cycles through each one of those. Okay. And then of course you can grab and stretch, move stuff around, however you like, move it. I like to move it, move it. You're welcome. You also have the option for world settings or local settings. Now the difference, we'll get into that later, but that is an option. Coming down into here, we have our snapping options, which allow you to snap your objects to the grid that it's on. You can see little grid lines down here, based on a certain amount. So right now grid snapping is on, it's set to 10. So 1 unreal unit is 1 centimeter. So this snaps 10 centimeters per motion. You can see actually over here, every time I drag that, it jumps 10 units. So there you go. You can adjust this. You can turn it off by clicking the little grid icon. So there's no snapping, so it's just 1 unit at a time. You can turn that back on. You can set it to 50 units and you'll see it jumping 50 units. You can set it to, let's do 500, and you'll see it really jump. Okay, so I'll put that back down to 10, which is the standard. There's also this editor surface snapping, so you can set this so it can snap to other surfaces, which is great. So if you have more than one object in the scene, it'll just snap to that object's surface. And there you go. You can see it trying to align to that object, which is kind of cool. I'm going to turn object snapping off, or surface snapping off. Rotational snapping, that's this little angle looking thing here. It looks like a triangle. This lets you, when you go to rotate, it rotates based on a certain amount. So it rotates 10 degrees every rotation snap. You can see that. And that's set right here. You can adjust that to any value you like. Or if you want to do a smooth rotation, you can turn that off and it will do a smooth rotate. Okay. Pro tip, whenever you rotate, you'll see this little hot wheel. It'll show you how far you've rotated from the given axis. If I stop rotating and then I go rotate again, it starts back at 0. So it only shows you how far you've gone from the current position of your axis, just so that you're aware. So I'm going to go ahead and reset these rotations back to 0. And then to kind of bring that to the point, I'll put snapping back on. And then as I rotate, I'll rotate this 30 degrees. So I've rotated 30 degrees off of the current axis. If I stop and then I come back, it says 0, but I'm still at 30 degrees physically. You can see it right here. So if I rotate again 30 degrees off this axis, now I'm at 60 degrees. So it is based off the current axis of your rotation. Just be aware of that. And you can set these all back to 0. Cool, cool. You also have a scaling snap. This allows you to snap or step your scaling amount. So if I bring up my scaling tool by pressing the E key, or sorry, the R key, and I go ahead and scale. Oops, let me grab the actual floor. And I go ahead and scale. You'll see it trying to scale based on the snap. Now if I go ahead and set this to 10 units every time it scales, it'll jump a bit more. See that? Boom. 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 And you can adjust this or you can turn it off. I believe the default is 0.25, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back to that. And you can see that your location or your location of your transform, rotation, and scale, they're all right here. Now, in Unreal, you can have a scale of 0. So if you set these to 0, you will have a object that doesn't exist because, well, it has no volume. So a scale of 1 is the default. And the way scalings work is these are a multiplication of the base size. So let's say this object is 100 centimeters across. Well, 100 centimeters at a base scale of 1 is 100 centimeters. But 100 centimeters at a base scale of 2 would be 200 centimeters. So whatever it started out as is the default of 1 multiplied. Next thing up, we have rotation. You can set these, of course, and then your location, you can set these. So just like you could in Maya or in Max or Blender, you can manually set the values and have things happen. This last piece, this is our camera speed. So as you click and drag into the world, it governs how fast your camera moves. So if I want to move my camera more quickly, I can just speed this up, and whoo, there we go. If I want to go slower, just bring it down, and now I crawl. Okay. The default is 4, so if you're not sure where it was at 4 by default. All right, and that about does it for the general interface and controls. In the next one, we're going to look at the viewport settings, the different camera settings, and the lights. Okay, stick around, and I shall see you in the next one. Hey guys, we have done it. We're at 1,000 subscribers, and I have you to thank for it. Couldn't be happier. Thank you, awesome. Channel's been going on for a couple of years now, and we are at that point where we can kind of start moving forward and getting all kinds of awesome stuff, right? 1,000 subscribers is just a little bit away from 1,000,000 subscribers. All right, small milestones at a time. Yeah, it's been a big, long time coming, so thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing and, of course, staying interested and learning, and that you would come to me to learn all kinds of neat stuff. That being said, I want to do something and celebrate. So what should we do? What should we make? I'm a big fan of doing like clones of games. I have a list on my Patreon as a poll. You can kind of go there and you don't have to sign up or anything, although I'd love it if you did. But if you head over there, it's publicly available. You just go to the poll and pick the one that you want. I put about 7 or so. So yeah, so 7 of those. But I picked like a Mario 64 clone or Star Fox 64. I really wanted to make a Star Fox clone for like a long time, but Mario would be kind of cool. Always a big fan of Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Do those. Or Soul Reaver. Big fan of Soul Reaver series. I like make Raziel and that sort of thing. FTL, why not? Because FTL is kind of neat. Wanted to have something that was different, right? Always a fan of Metroidvanias, so we could do like a Super Metroid kind of setup or a Mortal Kombat kind of setup, so a fighting game. Now, I say clones, but they're really going to be, because of copyright, we couldn't do Mario 64 outright, right? We couldn't make Mario and we couldn't do everything, but we can certainly make it Mario 64-esque, right? So we'll make a Mario-looking kind of character and dress him up appropriately, and then kind of make the hub world and that sort of thing. I'm going to keep these kind of in scope so that we're not going too far out, because of course time management's a thing. I teach full time. I also do this and whatever not. So gotta keep it within reason. But I would definitely be, for like the Mario 64 thing, I would make the character and some of the pieces for the hub world, and of course the bomb level, and kind of get that set up and kind of run through and see how that works. So this would be like a knockoff of that. Same thing with like Star Fox. We would do like the main overworld view and the map, and getting into there. Blood Omen, I would probably do the opening sanctuary crypt, and then the cemetery when you first get out. Soul Reaver, probably do the underworld all the way to the first exit. So when you get the first soul and you exit and you transition into the living world. I think the transition from living to dark world would be kind of cool. See how that is done. Plus, it would give me a chance to explore doing that inside of Unreal Engine. They initially did this. I don't think they used Unreal for this. They used. Fun fact is they actually used Unreal for Blood Omen. and then Crystal Dynamics didn't pay their royalty fees and they went under. So make sure you pay your royalty fees. FTL, I would probably do that in Game Maker. It's just a 2D game. Metroidvania kind of deal. You can do that in pretty much anything. We can do it in Unreal, or we can do it in Game Maker, or whichever. I'll let you guys pick what engine you want to do it in. I think for some things it's easier to do it in Game Maker, and in other aspects it would be easier to do it in Unreal. So you just kind of pick your battles there. And then for a fighting game, I would do like a Mortal Kombat style kind of clone. 2 fighters, kind of keep it simple. 1 arena, because setting up the animations is going to be what takes the most time, and keep it simple. Just kind of have like a roadmap of success of how to get that done. So any one of these I think would be great. You can always leave a comment if you think you have a better idea, but definitely go over here, and if this is something you would like to do or like to see me make as sort of the 1,000 subscriber reward, because we've hit it, definitely go over here and check it. And yeah, you'll see the link in the description. And once again, thank you guys for supporting the channel, and I will see you next time.